Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's start off with Jason, Sam, and Britt for a minute because I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but let's just give it a go anyway. So Sam gets there, and after telling Jason and Britt about Dante and how they're getting closer, and how he's getting closer, Sam is like, I'm gonna sit there and take you to Canada. I'm gonna drop you off. We got fake passports and everything like that. And Jason is like, what? So after they go back and forth, Sam says something along the lines of, well, I'm not going to go on a run with you. I just want to sit there and try to get you across the border. So let me get this straight, Sam. You're going to violate your parole just to, what, give Jason a pit stop? Like, what? Now, granted, Jason is like, this is a bad idea. This is going to violate your parole. It's not worth it. This is my mess, and I'm not going to have it spill on you. He finally gets through to her, and she's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, alright, I won't go. I'm just sitting there thinking, so let me get this straight. Dante tells you it's a bad idea for you to be trying to get involved with Jason and get into this whole mess. Carly tells you it's a bad idea. You got out the life, and why you jumping yourself back in. And Jason is now telling you the same goddamn thing. I just stood there. I was like, what are you doing? It literally made no sense. She was like, well, I left you because I wanted to save for life for my kids. And I'm just like, but you're going to sit there and agree to go to Canada with Jason because why? Like, you're seriously trying to use the father of my kids as an excuse? Come on. Like, seriously? I get where Sam is coming from, and I understand that her heart's in the right place, but let's be honest. This is a stupid move. You're not sitting there trying to defend him in a gun battle or anything like that. Like, he's fine, he's patched up, he's standing upright. Like, why are you here? Like, and then the whole idea that she wants to use, like, fake passports and everything like that. You're gonna do all of that to, what, go back to Port Charles at this point? Because nothing's going to go wrong at that point. Even if you do manage to make it past all the checkpoints, you don't get stopped or anything like that. Do you really think that you're just going to just go in the free and clear? Like, and see how she leaves. I'm just sitting there thinking at this point, is Kelly just coming in for a paycheck? Because I feel like scenes like this is just like, all right, I do gotta give this woman something to actually do and stop running after Jason, or just like let her go off the show because like I don't know this whole, and the sad thing is like with this whole parole violation stuff like that. Here's the thing, people like Sam for a lot of different reasons, you know. But she can't do everything. Like, if she didn't have the whole parole thing or whatever, then I could see her going on a run with Jason and stuff like that. But now she has that, and she has kids, so it's not like she could really do like any sort of dangerous kind of, breaking the law kind of situation. So it's like, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna pair up with Dante and just, like that's the thing to do. And it's so funny. It's so funny. Hold on one second. Because even CDL, I watched a bit of her review yesterday on GH. And she was saying the exact same thing as far as Sam. She was like, this whole jumping back and forth, like, what is it that you want? And it's amazing when I watch a lot of these other different, Brock TV, her, and some other people. It's very interesting when we all are at the same conclusion. Now, in the comment section, not on here, but like in the comment section, like on Instagram or whatever, they're doing a whole Dante versus Sam thing, and people are divided. And there's some people that's like really sticking up for Sam, and be like, "Oh, you guys shouldn't be so hard on her because she just wants to sit there and protect Jason, this, that, and the third." And it's like, yeah, we get that, but at the end of the day, what was the point of you leaving Jason if you want to protect your kids? Like, you honestly think you're gonna violate your parole and then go to jail, and then what, the kids are gonna have no parents because you want to just go and run off with Jason for one last adventure? Come on. It just, no. Sasha Gilmore. Yep, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. And so when Lucy's sitting there asking, like, well, who's the father? You know, is it this person? Is it that person? Is it Michael? And she's like, no, it's not Michael. And she doesn't give a lit, like um, every person that Lucy brings up, Sasha's like, no. But then Brando shows up right behind her and, is asking, is she okay? And everything like this, everything like that. Now, I'm sitting there thinking, so let me get this straight. How many times do you think that Michael had sex with Sasha? Okay. So you're going to sit there and tell me he's been going at it with this woman because, I mean, let's be honest, she does look pretty, He's been going at it with this woman for a while. Yet Brando has one night with this woman not that long ago, and already she's pregnant with his child. GH, GH practically almost defies physics at this point because they damn sure defy the laws and common sense most of the time. So now we're just gonna sit and believe that a short while of one night stand that wasn't even that long ago with Brando, and now he's the father of the child. But you know what? It could be a switch and bait. Okay, she could sit there and think that it is Brando, but in reality, it's gonna be Michael. So there's that. Now, of course, Brando's not there having lunch or breakfast with his mother. And we all know how we feel about his mother. And, true to form, there is one part in this episode when they're talking about Jason and, her being a witness, everything like that. Brando brings up the fact that you told Cyrus about the dev situation. He's been blackmailing me ever since, giving me to do whatever he wanted to. Gladys doesn't even apologizes. Yes, she stands there and she's like, oh, that's terrible. She has that look. Oh, it's terrible. But he's been doing so good for you, and I'm just doing my civic duty. I was like, that doesn't sound like an apology to me. I mean, seriously, your son just told you that because of the information that you gave to that guy, he's going to be blackmailing your son to whenever he feels like it. And you just don't even care. Oh, God. I've never seen a TV mom this, trash to this extent before my entire life. Now let me ask you a question. Have you seen a... One second. Have you ever seen a TV mom worser than Brando's mom? Just on TV. Let me know right down in the comment section below because I'm very curious at this point. The conversation really doesn't go anywhere because at this point, Brando's like, listen, you need to get away from him because the more you think everything is cool and chill, well, reality is going to hit, and when it does, it's going to, end badly for you. But of course, it just gets upset and she just walks away. Now, she's in the bathroom at this point, and this is after Lucy was, coming up with new concepts or whatever. I think she called it the conception or something like that. It was like, of course you did, Lucy. Of course you did. You have been a running punchline in this show for so long. Listen, here's the thing. I go way back on this show. Well, I go way back on this character. As far as Lucy goes. And Lucy, well, yeah, she had her dingbat moments and, her charm or personality or whatever. But she wasn't seen as a joke so much when she was on the show called Port Charles, when it was in one universe and everything like that. She was somebody you can actually take seriously. Yeah, she had her, the personality was the same, but it wasn't just her being his punchline. Now she's on the phone with somebody talking about, yeah, it's going to be this new line that's going to be called The Conception. You're just like, are you kidding me? This is what you did to this woman? Okay. So Sasha's in the bathroom trying to get some medicine or whatever for her morning sickness. She calls up the doctor and then she leaves. Guess who overhears? Yep, trash as Gladys. I mean, it's one of those things. Like every time you see her on screen, it's just like, I'm so glad that I ate earlier because just looking at this woman sometimes just makes me want to vomit. Like, I mean, just the epitome of a low life. Like every time I see Gladys, it's just, it's like if I'm walking in a room and I see a roach. It's just like, ew, it's gross. And that's what I think about every time I see Gladys. True story. Carly and Jack's argument, take 3 or take 4 or 38. But honestly, tell you, the truth, I think this is part 2 of yesterday's argument. At this point, here's the thing. They're both right and they're both wrong. They're both right and they're both wrong in this argument. And one thing that we can all agree on, and people say in the comment section, is that Carly likes the power. Carly likes being in the control. Throughout the conversation, there's one point she was like, listen, I've learned a lot from Sunny and from Jason, and I'm taking the best of both of them, and I'm gonna make it work. And there's a bit of a smile there, and that's when Jack's just like, yep, I see what this is. This is this is power. If you think it looks good on you at this point, this is literally what it is. But again, Jax has a point. Carly getting deeper and deeper into the mob, making herself a target, making Jocelyn a target by association. He has valid concerns. But here's the thing. So is Carly. Carly has valid concerns. Keeping the peace in Port Charles. The docks or whatever. If Sonny wasn't there. Because, he goes on and on about, Sonny is bad and, he did this and he did that. It's like, yeah, he did this and he did that. But you know what he also did do? To make sure that there was no drugs in his territory. To make sure that the violence was at a minimum. Because it's Port Charles. There's always going to be violence. There's always going to be that one mob person, that one bad person that wants to just mess the day up for everyone there. And at the end of the day, I think everyone in Port Charles, love Sonny or hate him, can all agree that it's better that he's there than someone else. So that's pretty much what Carly Smith is saying. The violence is down to a minimum. It's keeping Port Charles safe. And I'm doing a good thing. But, even in Carly's defense, here's the thing. If Carly decides not to take the reins, and she was like, listen, that was Sonny's world, and that's not me. I don't want to do it. I think Cyrus is going to be like, your husband's dead, so there's really no point. Yeah, I know he said that, but let's be honest. It's Cyrus. You can't trust him. Okay? He may decide to sit there and start picking on people left and right just because. He may decide, you know what? Michael was walking to work one day. How about we just give him a broken leg? Just because. You don't know. That's the thing with Cyrus. You don't know. And it's better to have guys with you than to not have guys with you. So they go back and forth. And at this point, Jocelyn's like, well, not Jocelyn. Jackson's like, well, I'm just going to sit there and take my daughter home. And Jackson and Carly's like, I'm sorry, what? At this point, Jocelyn's over 18, okay? There's no custody battle thing at this point. But, well, they're pretty much going to make Jocelyn choose. Going to make Jocelyn choose. And it's going to suck for Jocelyn because she shouldn't have to sit there and choose between her two parents. Now, I know yesterday I sat there and said that Jocelyn's acts bratty and stuff like that. And she does. And yesterday was all kind of just her being kind of vapid or whatever, but it's still not fair for her. And if I were going to be honest, she had to sit there and choose between her two parents. Let's be honest, she's going to sit there and pick Carly, even if Donna and Avery wasn't a factor. She was still going to pick Carly. The only difference now is that she gets to use the babies and what's going on with Carly as more an excuse if they make her pick. Oh, man. Also, after Sam leaves, Jason at one point is going to sit there and dump off Britt. But Britt is like, no, I'm not doing that because one, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get killed. Or I'm going to go in Puerto Rico because, that's a thing. And you're going to be sitting there trying to fight for your life. And I'm not going to do that. And plus, she just doesn't want to sit there and think about her disease. And if going on the run with Jason as an adventure as opposed to getting her mind off of what could or couldn't happen as far as her diagnosis goes, that's what she wants to do. So Jason is like, all right, fine. And that's what they do. Nicholas buys a prison at this point. And it's funny too because I said yesterday, I was like, it's so funny because, you know, you should have probably did that before. This way you wouldn't have been in bed with Cyrus for a little bit. And I did also sit there and say, in hindsight, hindsight is a funny thing, but it is what it is. But yeah, he tells Alexis that he's gonna buy the prison, and after a couple misgivings from Alexis, as far as what happens when prisons are privately owned, after she's like kind of have misgivings about it, Nicholas assures her so it's a go. Also, Sean decided to fight for his freedom. And the look on Nicholas' face when he was like, "Oh, is that right? That's such a good thing. Good luck." Now, from what I can understand, and this is just me kind of going back a little bit, it was Nicholas that hired the shooter. Either he hired the shooter or he did it himself. I'm pretty sure he hired the shooter. So he hired the shooter, and that's the person who hit Hayden Barnes. It wasn't Sean. But Sean, wrong place, wrong time. It is what it is. So, at first, Sean was like, listen, I'm not going to sit there and plead guilty to something that I didn't do. But if it gets me out of here and they can find a real person that shot Hayden and clear my name, I'm with it. So that's what apparently he's going to do. And it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets out, and I cannot wait. You know what I just actually found kind of interesting that I didn't even know? I mean, I was not there thinking about it today, but Sean Butler is actually, like, his first real name. Like, his real name is Sean. I just found that pretty interesting for some odd reason. But yeah, so he's planning on getting out, and I can't wait for that to happen. And Nicholas is just like, oh, that's so great, because, well, his time is coming, and it should be pretty interesting. But, you know what, to be fair, I mean, this guy, when he sits there and says he loves his aunt, he loved his aunt enough to buy a damn prison. So, like, there's that. And I don't know how I almost forgot the last scene. So, Nina decides to go with the plan. Nina and Sonny are going to be doing this plan. So, Nina's going to go on a date with Elijah while Sonny tries to break into his office to try to get dirt on him. Now, this whole date between Nina and Elijah is just very like the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, Nina, you're not that far from getting busted by him because, you clearly aren't into him. And here's the thing. Guys will pick up on that, okay? I don't care how hot you look. Not Nina, of course, but I don't care how hot you look, okay? We can tell if you're into, if you're into us or not. Okay, so I don't understand what she thinks she's doing by trying to fish for information. She's like, oh, well, like, what are you doing? And stuff like that. And there's one point where Elijah's like, you've been, like, sticking up for him. It seems like you're really familiar with him. Like you know him in a past life or whatever. While this whole thing is going on, Elijah keeps trying to paint this picture of, well, crime was up and it's because of him. And, even if, that's just the time that you guys know him and stuff like that. So all that stuff is going on. Well, Sonny's trying to break in. But he gets in and an alarm goes off. Now, luckily, I was able to actually watch that part because 57 or 58 minutes into this episode, and they decided to cut it off. So that was fun to watch. I miss SoapNet. that's, yeah, that's about it. Just don't want to double check. But yeah, that's actually going to do it for this review of General Hospital. I think I pretty much kind of covered everything. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. It's actually kind of interesting now to think about. There's two Kellys on the show. There's Britt, that's actually her real name is Kelly, and then there's Kelly Monaco. But again, the fact that, Sam came in, said what she said, and then left, and then we didn't see her for like the rest of the episode. It was like, I felt like they could have just cut that whole scene out. And besides the like bit of a heads up, like you didn't really do anything else. So your scene could have been cut out, and honestly, tell you the truth, I think I would have enjoyed the episode all the same. But that's just my opinion. And with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Catch you in the next video.